Hello everybody, welcome to another Compadre Cooking School video. So we're going to start a new segment. We're going to start doing a little bit of unusual recipes now. We're going to keep on going with the traditional Portuguese ones. This one is also a traditional Portuguese recipe. But for example, for today we're going to use cow's tongue to make a nice recipe with it. Guys, if you like this video, please give us a like in the like button. We appreciate it. So, let's go for the ingredients for this recipe. It's a simple recipe. It's all about the tongue in this case. A couple of things I have to tell you before. So, when you buy a cow's tongue or a pork tongue in the market or in the supermarket, it doesn't come like this. So, what I did before we started the video, I actually blanched it in water, hot water, for about 30 minutes. And then I scraped all of the white stuff, the rough part of the tongue, and now it's ready to be cooked. For this recipe, we're going to use red wine, so basically we're going to cook it in red wine. A carrot, just to give it a little bit of sweetness. So I have here some canned tomatoes, peeled tomatoes, just because the tomatoes now are not in season. If you can find some ripe tomatoes, very ripe, use them. Now we're going to go for this, adds a little bit of sweetness to the recipe. Some onions, garlic, the normal of Portuguese cuisine, bay leaf, and for condiments, we're just gonna go with cumin and some paprika powder. And obviously our old friend, olive oil. And I told you before that I pre-cooked the tongue, so I actually saved a little bit of the stock. Instead of using water, you can use water, but instead of using water, I'm gonna use a little bit of the stock that I got from the pre-cooking process of the tongue. So, we're gonna start by first cutting the onions. I'm going to roughly chop them and saute them in olive oil. We're going to use a pressure cooker for this recipe, but you can actually do it in a normal pan, of course, but we're going to try to speed up the process a little bit. It takes about 45 minutes in a pressure cooker. If you do it in a normal pan, about 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to add onions and the olive oil, and in a medium heat, we're going to start sauteing everything. In the meanwhile, I'm going to chop the garlics. The next step, after you roughly chop the garlic, just chop it small, but it's almost going to disintegrate because we're going to cook it for a long time. Add it to the saute and stir a little bit. One already peeled carrot, I'm just going to cut it in round slices. Okay, so we're going to add some condiments. A little bit of paprika powder, about teaspoon, it's enough. We can rectify it a little bit. And a little bit of cumin. I'll start, because not everybody likes cumin, with about half a teaspoon. Next, a couple of bay leaves, just to add some fragrance to it. Don't forget to take them out in the end. Next, we're going to add the hero of the dish, the nice piece of tongue. It goes inside. So this is what I scraped earlier just to make it prettier, but it's edible, so cook it, okay? Don't throw this away. I'm gonna accommodate everything a little bit, let it come to the temperature. So just let it come to a temperature. Let's add the wine, and we want to evaporate already a little bit of the alcohol. Okay, so now we're gonna add about half a liter of wine, a good wine, by the way. Okay, as soon as the wine starts to boil, we're going to add our canned or very ripe tomatoes. I have here about two small tins. I'm going to add about one and a half, so I'm not going to use all of this. Last ingredient before you close the lid, if you're not using a pressure cooker, close the lid. In our case, we're going to start building some pressure, but we're going to use the stock. As I told you before, this is the stock from the boiling process of the tongue before we actually started the recipe. So I'm going to do about a quarter of a liter, just enough that you're not covering everything, you just leave a little bit of the tongue outside. Again, wait for it to boil, then we're going to close the lid on the pressure cooker. Season to your own taste, and for me it's going to be about 35 minutes in the pressure cooker. If you're doing this in a conventional cooker, in a conventional pan, it's going to be about 2 hours and a half. with the lid closed or almost closed, and until the tongue is very soft. Okay, so guys, after 45 minutes in the pressure cooker, remember, if you're doing this on a normal pan, at least 2 hours. I'm gonna take it off because I'm gonna slice it, let it rest a little bit. I have my cooking immune hands and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna get into it. We're gonna cut it roughly 1 inch, 1 finger length. I cut the tongue into about 1 centimeter slices. It's back in the sauce now. And we're gonna cook it for about 20 to 30 minutes without a lid, because we want to reduce the sauce. It's very liquid at this point, and we want to soften it even more. You could eat it as soon as you take it out of the pressure cooker, but we want it like almost like butter, falling apart. So guys, half an hour later, we have our recipe ready. I'm gonna show you a little plating, nothing special. And normally this goes with mashed potatoes. We didn't do the mashed potatoes because that's not either unusual or difficult. I bet everybody has done mashed potatoes before. To finish it off, some garnish, some fresh coriander on top. And you have a very typical Portuguese recipe, a little bit uncommon. It's not in every restaurant that you're going to find this ingredient, the tongue in Spain particularly. Cooked in a very Portuguese way. We do cook a lot with red wine. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Guys, hope you enjoyed the recipe. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Compadre Cooking School, okay, on YouTube. And have a nice one. Stay healthy.